Hello dearest friends, it's me again. Welcome back to the Wonderland, where together we create medieval miniatures and magic. Today we're making mini medieval maps with authentically ancient drawings on old weathered parchment. My printable includes 15 striking and unique miniature maps. Unlike the maps of later periods, medieval maps were schematic, colourful and a little primitive. You can find the tools, supplies and printables link in the description below the video. This double-sided printable gives the back of the maps the look of weathered parchment. Although a laser printer can definitely do the job, an inkjet printer will really make the colours shine and give a true parchment feel. Before starting to cut out the maps, it's important to spray the back and front of the printable with a thin coat of clear gloss aerosol lacquer. This seals and protects them as you cut them out, and also roll and unroll them. Once the sealer has dried, you can begin to cut them out. I start by cutting away the 4 outer page edges. I've aligned the outer borders of the maps in a straight line so that you can do this easily. There is a distinct dark border around each map, easy enough to see the edge. Medieval maps were made of parchment and their edges were uneven and ragged. To create a more realistic edge, I prefer using a metal ruler rather than scissors to cut the maps out. Don't worry if you do prefer to use scissors, as I will show you how to easily distress the edges. To protect the maps from tearing during this step, place the unwanted edge, not the map, under the ruler. Press down firmly on the ruler and hold the map as you tear away the edge. You always have better control if you have the bigger piece in your hand. Even the smallest piece can be successfully removed in this way. I had a few mishaps myself, so I thought I would share this handy tip with you. Some people find it easier to cut out the maps using a pair of scissors, but it tends to make the edge unrealistically sharp. To remedy this, use the sharp edge of one of the blades to lightly skim or scrape along the edges. Apply slight pressure, enough to fray and weather the paper edge. This gives these miniature maps a more truthful and realistic texture and finish. As we know, detail is everything in our tiny world. Remember not to press too hard, as you can easily tear the map edge. But even if that happens, you can use it to your advantage and create a weathered and slightly distressed look for your map. Dilute brown acrylic paint with a drop of water and using the flat edge of a brush, proceed to color the edges of the maps so that none of the white paper shows through. Medieval maps had darkened edges because whether they were rolled or hung up, they suffered damage due to handling and wear. You can see the benefit of having sprayed the maps with clear lacquer, as it's now easy to wipe away any stray paint. Remember to also check the back of your maps for any white spots. These maps will be a little resistant to rolling because we've sprayed them with lacquer. To make the start easier, begin by bending the paper edge over a toothpick. This gives a better grip and shape. Roll the map as tightly as possible to keep the form. It's easiest to roll the edge back and forth a few times to make a curve and get a good grip around the toothpick. Remember that you don't need to roll all of the maps. You may simply want to frame some of them to use as wall paintings in your dollhouse. I found the rolling to be great fun and very satisfying. The clear lacquer that we sprayed on the maps at the beginning of the tutorial gives them an authentic, hardy and leathery texture, and also helps to protect them as we roll and unroll them. If you want to bind some of the rolled maps with leather straps, please see my previous video where I show how to make leather cord for my illuminated scrolls. You now have a set of 15 miniature medieval maps that you can display open or rolled up in your dollhouse library or dioramas. In my previous video, I showed how to make mini illuminated scrolls. Medieval scrolls and maps were carried in pouches that could be worn over the shoulder or on a hip belt. In my next video, I'll be creating 2 such mini leather pouches with a cutting pattern or template. Our mini maps fit perfectly inside them. What a better way to carry our little medieval maps and scrolls than how people originally carried them. These mini pouches can each carry 2 maps or 1 scroll. There are cutting patterns for a hip pouch, which was carried on a belt, and also a shoulder pouch, which has a longer carry strap. And there we have our unique and oh so medieval miniature maps. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you want to see more, I'd be so happy if you subscribed and hit the notification button. Till the next time, bye.